everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank God it's Friday. So it's raining out right now, and it's supposed to be like 59 degrees today, so it's not going to be warm. So I wore like my Breaking Benjamin sweatshirt. It used to be a hoodie, but I cut off the hood. Sometimes hoods annoy me, so. Yep, I'm wearing that and black leggings and my black and white sneakers, so dressed in black. Anyway, so I had a few of you comment that you wanted to hear me read you a story, so I'm going to be reading real life ghost stories. I'm just going to be reading regular. It's kind of hard to whisper the whole thing, so that's what we're going to be doing today. And I have my Caramel Craze Signature Ice Latte from Dunkin'. Anyway, let me take a quick sip before I read. See how big the print is. I might need my reading glasses because, you know. Let me just check. I'm not going to be reading the entire story in one video. It might take maybe 2 or 3 videos. I don't know, we'll see. So the first one is La Llorona, I don't know how to say it. The Legendary Weeping Woman of Mexico by Megan Cooley Peterson. Beware the Weeping Woman. Let's see. It's late at night and you're roasting marshmallows with your family at a campsite beside a river. The flames crackle. Moonlight glints off the rushing water. Suddenly you hear a woman cry out for her lost children, but you don't see anyone. As you explore the riverbank, a woman in white drifts towards you. Her feet don't touch the ground. You scream and she vanishes. Were your eyes playing tricks on you? Or did you just encounter La Llorona, the Weeping Woman of Mexico? La Llorona means weeping woman in Spanish. The story of La Llorona began sweeping through Mexico in the 1500s. According to the tale, a local woman drowned her children. Filled with regret and overtaken by heartache, the woman searched for her children up and down the river. She didn't stop her search even to eat or drink, and she died. Her spirit was doomed to roam the earth forever, calling out for her lost children. La Llorona's story is still told today. Many people say the weeping woman is not a legend at all, but a real ghost. Skeptics say that sightings of La Llorona can be explained by a mist or lights. They believe there is no ghostly woman in white. Turn the page and decide for yourself. I'll show like a little picture. Okay. All right. Chapter 1. The Legend of La Llorona. The legend of La Llorona has terrified listeners for hundreds of years. There is no single story of La Llorona. The most common version involves a beautiful peasant woman. When her husband dies, the woman must raise their children alone. She meets a wealthy man and falls in love, but the man doesn't want to help raise her children. He won't marry her. Desperate to be with the man she loves, the woman takes her children to the river and drowns them. But after killing them, she dies from a broken heart. Fact: The story of La Llorona is sometimes told to keep children from misbehaving. Parents warn their children that if they're not careful, La Llorona will get them. The woman's story doesn't end with her death. Her spirit roams rivers and other bodies of water as she searches for her dead children. Dressed all in white, she cries out for them. Any children who are careless near water are snatched away by La Llorona's tormented ghost. Skeptics note, no child abductions have ever been tied to La Llorona or a ghost. If they happened as frequently as reported, there would be evidence. Tales from Mexico. Other versions of La Llorona's legend have spread throughout Mexico. In one story, a poor woman is left by the man she loves. She becomes depressed. While her sons sleep, she kills them. Then she takes her own life. Her ghosts wander the city streets at night, crying out, "Miss, my sons." Say that word. In another version, a mother drowns her children in a canal. No one knows why she kills her children. Her ghost wears all white and roams the city streets at night. She cries out for her dead children before disappearing into the darkness. La Llorona is also said to haunt Mexico's highlands at dusk. She appears to men returning from working in the fields. She calls to them in the voices of their wives or girlfriends. La Llorona leads the men to the edge of the cliffs. Any man who follows her ghostly cries is pushed off the cliff to his death. Fact. In folklore, a siren was a beautiful creature. She was half bird, half human. Sirens use their voices to lure sailors to their deaths. I got Taylor over there laying on the bed, so you might hear him like snoring in his sleep. I don't know how to pronounce this, so I don't want to. The fearsome Aztec goddess. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's Chihuacoatl. I don't want to even try to pronounce that, but it's, she's a goddess often associated with birth, death, and war. Some scholars say La Llorona is based on the Aztec goddess. I can't say that word. The Aztecs lived in present-day Mexico long before the Spanish arrived. According to legend, she stole infants and killed them. Dressed in white, she drifted along the streets after she killed them, wailing. Her cries warned of wars and misery. Really, Taylor? La Llorona haunts the United States. Mexican immigrants brought the tale of La Llorona with them to the southwestern United States. Like in Mexico, there are many U.S. versions of her story. Some say her children can be seen wandering the streets at night. Other tales say that La Llorona isn't a ghost at all. She's alive and bloodthirsty. In another twist on the legend, La Llorona doesn't kill her children. On a cold night, she decides to leave her husband. She hides her children under a bridge on the shore of a river. Then she goes home to pack their belongings. But when she returns, the children have frozen to death. She haunts the river, weeping for her children. Fact. In New Mexico, La Llorona's soul is sometimes associated with flames or balls of fire. Folk tales and urban legends. Folk tales have been told for thousands of years. They are stories or legends passed from person to person. Urban legends are modern versions of folk tales shared by word of mouth and online. Urban legends can be strange or scary or both. They often deal with real-life fears such as drowning or talking to strangers. Urban legends sometimes contain a lesson by telling us what not to do. Chapter 2. Encounters with La Llorona. Is La Llorona a legend or a real ghost? Some people claim to have come face to face with the weeping woman. These real-life encounters will send chills up your spine. But are they enough to convince you she's more than just a scary story? Walking on water. In 1931, a girl named Guadalupe visited the Santa Fe River in New Mexico with her 2 brothers. The boys spent the summer afternoon splashing in cool water. Guadalupe played on the riverbank. Suddenly, a gust of wind tore through the river valley. It rattled the weeds and cattails where Guadalupe played. Then she heard the sound of tinkling bells. Guadalupe tried to move, but she found herself paralyzed. I could not move a muscle, she later recalled. I was mesmerized by the sound of the bells for at least a minute. Once the sound of the bells died away, Guadalupe heard a woman crying, "Mija, mija, my daughter, my daughter." Finally, able to move, Guadalupe and her brothers ran all the way home. Guadalupe's brothers also heard the woman calling out, but they heard her crying for her sons, not her daughter. Skeptics note. Some skeptics say people mistake fog or shadows for La Llorona. People who hear the ghosts are actually hearing howling animals or blowing wind. Another picture for you. Sorry about that. Guadalupe and her brothers recounted their tale to their parents. Guadalupe's mother whispered to her father, "La Llorona." The family quickly returned to the river to see if they could find her. The woman could still be heard wailing. Guadalupe's mother shouted, "Leave my children alone, daughter of the devil." As the family turned to leave, one of Guadalupe's brothers yelled for them to stop. He pointed to the river. A ghostly figure walked on the water, her arms outstretched. The family fled in terror, frozen with fear. Between 2000 and 2009, a young boy was visiting family in Durango, Mexico. He played outside with his cousins late at night. Suddenly, the boy found himself separated from his family. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up straight. The boy could feel something or someone watching him. When the boy heard the laughter of unfamiliar children, he became paralyzed with fear. Skeptics note, when faced with danger, people experience a fight or flight response. Scientists say that people often freeze while deciding whether to fight or run away. Soon the laughter died out, and a woman began to wail. She begged for her children to return to her, fearing it was La Llorona. The boy was finally able to move. He ran into his grandmother's house. Everyone inside the house had also heard the woman's cries. Was it La Llorona? Or is there another explanation? Fact. In Santa Fe, New Mexico, La Llorona is said to haunt the Public Employees Retirement Association building near the Santa Fe River. Employees have heard wailing in the halls. Others report being pushed by unseen hands. I don't know if you noticed, but my lights are like flickering back here, so I don't know if it's, I don't know. The Ghost Without Eyes. 2 brothers in Texas got the fright of a lifetime near the city of Penitas in the mid-2010s. They were driving home in separate cars on Military Road around midnight. This barren road runs along the Rio Grande River. As darkness settled, the brothers noticed a woman walking along the side of the road. She wore a long white dress and no shoes, and she was soaking wet. Concerned for her safety, the brother in the front car slowed down to ask her if she needed a ride home. The pale woman slowly turned toward the car. Her face was unlike any he had ever seen. She had gaping black holes where her eyes should be. The man sped away in his car. When he glanced in the rearview mirror, she was gone. His brother in the rear car also could not see her once he passed. Skeptics note, if the man pulled up next to the woman, his car's headlights would not have been pointing at her. Her eyes may have been simply hidden in shadow. What's your name? Around the same time in Santa Maria, Texas, a young girl rode her bike to her cousin's house late at night. Her cousin lived near a cemetery close to the Rio Grande River. Just as she parked her bike in the driveway, a woman in white appeared. She hovered above the ground. When the woman floated toward the girl, who was frozen in shock. Finally, the woman asked, "Who are you?" The girl managed to answer with a fake name before running into the house. When she looked back, the mysterious woman had vanished. Had the girl spoken to La Llorona? Fact, in some tales, La Llorona is 9 feet tall. In others, her face is a bear skull. Interesting. So this is the picture of the woman on the road. So, anyway. And my lights just flickered again, so. I don't know. The ghostly hitchhiker. A winter's drive home turned into a nightmare for one man from Pecos, New Mexico. He was driving home late one night in 1953. His car's headlights lit up a woman standing alone on the side of the road. She wore a long black cloak that covered most of her face. The man pulled over and opened the passenger's door. "Would you like a ride home?" he asked. The woman climbed into the car without answering. As the man drove, the woman sat still as a statue. She kept one hand on her knee and the other inside her cloak. The man still couldn't make out her face. He tried to ask her questions, but she refused to utter a single word. Soon the man began to smell sulfur. Nervous, he pulled the car over to ask her to get out, but when he turned toward his silent passenger, she was gone. The woman had never even opened the door to get out. Before the man could drive away, a blood-curdling scream pierced the car's interior. The hairs on his neck stood straight up. The man later told his friend what he had experienced. His friend had a shocking story of his own. He had also encountered the mysterious woman. "That was La Llorona," said the man's friend. Even though the ghostly hitchhiker wore all black, the men believed the woman could be none other than La Llorona. I think Salem's outside the door because I keep hearing like him trying to push the door open. So, I don't know. The Vanishing Hitchhiker. And Taylor's making noise over there. The Vanishing Hitchhiker is one of the best known urban legends. It is told all over the world. In most versions, a driver sees a person on the side of the road. The driver offers them a ride. While driving, the driver notices the hitchhiker has vanished. The driver learned later that this person had already died. Sometimes the hitchhiker leaves something behind, like a jacket or a footprint. That's kind of freaky looking. I don't know. If I was driving, I don't think I'd want to stick around and see that. So, let's see. Okay, we're just going to read one more chapter, chapter 3. I know. Chapter 3, Ladies in White Around the World. La Llorona isn't the only ghostly woman in white. White lady ghost stories have been told around the world for hundreds of years. People use these stories to help them deal with and understand death. Banshees. The banshee is a female spirit from Irish folklore. According to legend, banshees can be heard wailing at night. In Ireland, they are considered messengers of death. If a person hears a banshee's cries, someone in their family is doomed to die. Like La Llorona, banshees are often said to wear all white. They are typically described as old women with long white hair. They have red-rimmed eyes from crying so much. Fact: like La Llorona, banshees are often associated with bodies of water. In Irish mythology, water is a gateway to the underworld. Banshees are common in Scottish folklore. In Scotland, a banshee-like being is known as... I can't see that. I don't know what that means. Beannighe. They are said to be found near rivers. Fact: the White Lady is one of the Philippines' most famous ghosts. Sightings of her are often reported on Ballet Drive in Manila. She is said to haunt cab drivers. Okay. These lights are annoying. I don't know why they're doing that. Anyway, haunted France. Ghostly women in white are also said to haunt France. Some haunt bridges, ravines, roads, and creeks. Travelers who want to pass must show respect to the ghost. According to some legends, the ghost extends her hand, asking for a dance. She lets travelers pass if they dance with her. But if the traveler refuses, the lady in white flings them into a ditch filled with thorns. Some ladies in white have familiars or animals under their control. If a traveler doesn't show respect, the ghost commands her familiars to attack them. Fact: in France, the White Lady ghost is sometimes called La Dame Blanche. White Lady at the Lake. In Rochester, New York, a ghostly figure dressed in white haunts Durand Eastman Park. According to legend, a mother and daughter lived in the area in the early 1800s. One night, the daughter went for a walk on the beach of Lake Ontario. She never returned. Her mother searched the beach and surrounding woods for the rest of her life. Even after the mother died, her spirit never gave up her search. On misty nights, a ghostly woman in white has been spotted floating over the waves. A storm ripped through Durand Eastman Park, and a strange figure emerged in the bark of a tree that had been damaged by wind. Some people believe this figure to be the ghost of the White Lady. Well, that's pretty creepy. So, there you go. Did you see that? Germany's Ladies in White. One of the earliest known Lady in White stories came from Germany in the mid-1400s. German White Lady ghosts are called Die Weiße Frau. I don't know if I said that right. Die Weiße Frau means the White Lady in German. Some scholars believe this story was carried to Mexico by Spanish explorers. It may have inspired the tale of La Llorona. According to a German story, a rich man died. He left behind a widow and 2 children. His widow hoped to remarry and soon drew the attention of a wealthy man. But the man said he would not marry her because 4 eyes were in the way. The widow assumed he meant the 4 eyes of her children. While her children slept, one night she crept into their bedroom and killed them. When the man found out the widow had murdered her children, he rejected her. The 4 eyes he had referred to were those of his parents. They did not approve of the widow. The widow later opened a convent and became a nun. After her death, she haunted the convent. Her ghostly apparition signaled death to anyone unlucky enough to see her. A murderous ghost. In another German White Lady tale, a young peasant girl meets a rich man. They have a baby together, but the man won't marry her. In a rage, the woman kills the man and their child. She is arrested and locked away, and after a short time, she goes insane and dies. Her ghost wears a long white gown. Anyone who speaks to this white lady dies within a few days. Well, that's it for right now. I plan on going on again later and reading again, because actually I have to get my son ready for school. So I'll be back on later to read. So I hope I didn't frighten you too much. I don't know, I'm getting kind of creeped out here because my lights keep flickering here. So, and then I got Salem outside the door, at least I think it's Salem. So I just find it odd that I'm reading something scary and, you know, I got lights flickering, I got noises at the door, and, well, Taylor's just there sleeping, so I'm pretty sure if he sensed anything, he would, you know, be wide awake and wondering what's going on, so. And I gotta make breakfast anyway, my stomach's making little growling noises, so. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll be back later to read.